So, I'm Eric A. Bacaro, Group 1, present Global Economy. So, first is define economic globalization. So, it is one of the three main dimensions of globalization commonly found in academic literature, with the two other being political globalization and cultural globalization, as well as the general term of globalization. So the globalization is the one of the main dimension, and it commonly seen in the academic literature. So there are two other being. The first is political globalization. So the political globalization, it is refers to the growth of the worldwide political system. So the second is cultural globalization. So it is a experience every day and reflect standard of culture expression around the world and etc. That's all. Thank you.
International Economic and Financial Organization. An international economic organization of 34 countries founded in 1961 to simulate economic progress and world trade. International economic organizations are set up to resolve various trade disputes among different countries. Different economic organizations define strategies related to global trade and fair treatment. They also promote fair trade by making sure equal distribution of trade activities of fair services. So dito po ang the International Economic Organization, after ng World War II, yung United States nag-emerge sila as global power and had an enormous influence over the formation of international economic institutions. So this includes the formation of the International Monetary Fund, yung World Bank, and yung General Agreement in Tariff and Trade. So yung IMF ay ginawa para ma-monitor ang system of fixed exchange rates in which each currency had an official exchange rate in relation to gold or to US dollar. So yung system na to was designed to avoid competitive devaluation of currencies that led to trade wars during the interwar period. So ang devaluation means ito yung reduction sa official rate in which yung isang currency ay exchange din sa isang currency. Balance of payment deficit, ito naman yung mas maraming pera ang nawawala sa bansa kaysa pumapasok. And they can devalue their currencies to make their goods cheaper so that they can increase their exports and decrease their imports. And with this ay ang IMF ay nag-provide ng short-term loans to have states deal temporary balance of payments. In contrast to the IMF short-term loans, yung International Bank for Reconstruction and Development or yung World Bank naman ay nag-provide ng long-term loans for the economic development of least developed countries. Meanwhile, General Agreement on Tariff and Trade lowered tariffs on multilateral trade negotiation at na-establish and international trade rules para maiwasan ang protectionist trade barriers. Next po. International Economic and Financial Organization. The International Financial Organization is a single for all the major global banks or lending institutions around the world. This includes World Bank, Asian Bank, BRIC Bank, International Bank for the Reconstruction and Development, BRD, and many others. This organization are also part of the World Bank. Dito naman po sa International Financial Organization or institution, yung mga owners or shareholders nila are generally mga national governments. So, what are the types of the International Financial Organization? These are the World Bank. Gaya nga ng sabi ko kanina, Asian Development Bank, Islamic Development Bank, at last is yung International Monetary Fund. So, ang role ng World Bank is to end extreme poverty, which is to achieve the percentage of people living in 2030. To promote prosperity in order to foster income growth of the population in every country. Ang role naman ng Asian Development Bank ay to make loans and equity investments. To provide technical assistance, to promote investment of private and public capital for development purposes. While the Islamic Development Bank to foster the economic development and social progress of member countries, and in accordance to the principle sharing on Islamic, to participate in the equity capital and grant loans for productive projects and enterprises. Isa pa dito ay para makapag-establish makapag-establish and operate special funds. Ang role naman ng IMF or International Monetary Fund to ensure the stability of the international monetary system, para ma-monitor ang economic at financial policies, at para rin mag-provide ng loans sa member ng countries. Thank you po. Ang susunod po sa akin si Jasper Valles. Thank you po.
Good morning. Thank you, Sandra Amanda, for your explanation. Now I will explain the three more actors. First one is the non-governmental organization. It is a voluntary group or institution with social mission which operate independently from the government. There are many large national non-government organizations, such as, for example, the Amnesty International, the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies, and more. They help improving the state, natural environment, encouraging the observance of human rights, and so on. Next is the International Governmental Organization. It is an organization composed of primarily of sovereign states or other organizations through formal treaties for handling common interests and governed by international laws. So, IGOs are established by treaty that acts as a charter, creating the group. For example, the topic about the West Philippine Sea, the United Nations have the power to handle or to fix it by treaties of the two countries. So, the last one is the transnational corporation. It is the companies that operates in more than one country, for example, the McDonald's. It is an international fast food chain that most of the country have. It helps the globalization grow, or economic globalization grow. The role of transnational corporation is a key role in ongoing globalization process. The strategies largely determine volume and nature of trade flows, foreign direct investment, and other factors that shape the global economy. That's all. Thank you.
And now I'm going to report about modern world system. Immanuel Wallerstein, an American sociologist and economic historian, in 1974, he is the best known for his world system approach. Siya ang nakaimbento ng modern world system. What does it mean by the modern world system? As you can see in the map is colored. The countries are colored in the different colors: the yellow, the green, and the orange. These are what we call as the modern world system. That the world is divided based on their capitals. According to Immanuel Wallerstein, modern world system is specifically a capitalist world economy, with capitalism defined as the endless accumulation of capital, meaning to say that the world is divided mainly because of the economic globalization. This is the division of the world that it undergoes only in the first world, second world, and third world countries. Another definition of modern world system, it is geographical division of labor, meaning to say that the world is divided mainly on their geographical division, which the world divided on based on how could they produce product on the basis of their capacities as a country or a state. While the basic linkage is economic, the system is reinforced by political and cultural factors. Take note of the structure of globalization. We have three structures, which is the political, the economical, and the social globalization, of which these three has placed in what we call the modern world system. The modern world system divides the nations and the areas of the world into three units: the tripartite world system, designated core, peripheral, and semi-peripheral. Will know that sociologists claim that the world divided according to the first world, second world, and the third world countries. However, Immanuel Wallerstein divided the world in what we call as the tripartite world system. By the term tripartite, he claimed that the world is divided into three designated: the core, the peripheral, and the semi-peripheral, as being the world division. Later, we will know what is all division all about. In the past, sub-areas remain to be external to the system, even though Immanuel Wallerstein claimed that the world is divided in three. There are still countries and states that is not part of the tripartite world system, and they are called as the external system.
The modern world system 1, capitalist agriculture and the origins of the European world economy in the 16th century. A tour de force that brings together and makes sense of a wealth of diverse historical studies. An extremely formidable achievement. The core are what we call the first world country. Countries that are powerful, wealthy, and highly independent of outside control. So meaning to say, they are powerful, they are wealthy, they can accumulate, and they can give wealth to others' country. Some of the transnational and multinational corporations are found on the core, like for example the Starbucks, the Nike, and etc. Multinational and transnational corporations are found on the core. And these are the countries from Japan, Canada, United States, Australia, New Zealand, and Northwestern Europe, United Kingdom, Sweden, and etc. The modern world system 2, mercantilism and the consolidation of the European world economy, 1600 to 1750, an exciting and highly intelligent book. Semi-neighboring countries are the two extreme countries we call the countries of the Second World. The two extreme countries are the most powerful. In the developing countries are the neighboring countries. They are the buffers that shows that what is happening in and around the core has a significant impact on the semi-periphery and is either abused or abused. Semi-neighboring countries become abusers when they try to abuse neighboring countries if they are abused because they are being abused by the core. Because this, they either abuse them or become buffers that are abused. These are countries from Latin America, which are Brazil, Argentina, South Africa, Iran, India, China, South Korea, Malaysia, and Indonesia.
Next is peripheral or periphery, which is considered as the third world countries that lack strong settled governments and controlled other states. These are countries exported raw materials to the core. Going back to the definition of the periphery, these countries are controlled of other states. They may not control physically, but they are controlled economically because these countries are dependent with the other countries such as the core. They rely the economic situation based on the economic stability and economic balance of the core. Now, periphery relied coercive labor practices and heavily exploited, meaning to say that in the modern world system, the most exploited one are the peripheral countries. By this part of these third countries, because we exported raw materials, we can see here the farmers, the miners, those of what we call as the laylayan. Those people, those countries that gives the raw materials to the core. Now, what are these countries? These countries are the Philippines, of course, and Russia, African country, Asia, and some Latin American countries such as Colombia, Chile, and Peru. These are the countries that part of periphery. And the last one, now, there is what we call as not a part of three, but they are called as the external areas. The external areas are countries that maintain their own economic system and does not manage to remain outside of the modern world system. Meaning to say, they are introverted countries. They are the countries that do not let each other being exploited by one each other. So they limited with foreign commercial influence. In short, they lack of their own country's external or foreign influences so that they can mobilize themselves in better economic prosperity. These countries are Russia, Iceland, Western Sahara, Suriname, and lastly is the North Korea. These countries that part of external areas of the modern world system.